Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I keep thinking about ways that we could have a better life, and I'm saying that because as I observe social media, I see people coming from all kinds of perspectives. I see people got this problem and that problem, and they're expressing them in, as far as they can see, most dynamic ways. And so it almost make it appear as though you heard the expression two sides of the same coin. Well, it almost make it seem that on the one side, the head side, its reference is that it is proper. It is the most valuable of the coin. On the tail side, it is saying the same identical thing. It is the most valuable of the coin. And it keeps going forward. And when you get to the end, if there was to be a determination of which was more important, you would have the tail arguing with the head, and the head would be arguing with the tail about which is more important, neither recognizing that they got to the end together, the right and the left. It took both of them to get to where they were going. Otherwise, it would just be a side getting no place because it takes both in order to travel. So I'm thinking about people who talk about Christianity. You hear a lot of atheist guys, especially comedians, talk about Christianity and how fake it is to them. They say that because the evidence is not there. They usually say that if a Christian was following their Jesus, that they would be doing the things that Jesus talked about. Sermon on the Mount, his walk through life, and they don't see this happening with people who call themselves Christians, so they call them fans. And I thought about that, and I would have to say, ladies and gentlemen, that to a degree, I agree. And let me tell you why I agree. You see, some people say that the story about Jesus Christ is just a story. And if it is, it's fine with me. The story about Santa Claus to some people is just a story. And if it is, it's fine with me. But it causes something to happen during this particular time when they're talking about Santa. So it seems to me that it should cause something to happen when they're talking about the Jesus. And not only that, for me, as I stand before you thinking it's relative that I should be able to speak to you, is because I understand that some people say, you got to show me a God and I'll believe. And they have crossed up their thinking that they don't understand that how can you show the power that created the earth? How can you reveal the power of that established the universe? All you have to do is, as best you can, observe the earth, observe the universe. That's as best you can see about the God, but that's not all you can see, because that God is constantly unfolding. As the earth is able to be sustainable here, as the universe is able to be sustainable here, then humankind should be likewise. And so for me, when I'm thinking about what the whole message of Jesus Christ meant, not only that, when I think about me, my individual self, and what I aspire in life and what I would love to see in life, that makes me feel that it is a very special thing. And as I conclude that for myself, I'm thinking that the 8 billion people, or however many here, or have come, it was the same for them. And I'm asking myself, how in the world can this happen? All of these different people with all of these different ideas, how can it happen? And then I'm reminded about the coin. It has two sides. It has to get there together. Now, the thing that needs to be resolved here is to establish on each side that both sides are as important as the other side. So you can stop the fussing and enjoy the ride. So when I think about Christians, to me, in relationship to it as it has been described, it is fake. Everybody wants to be associated with, even up to their death. Well, usually start out a little slow, but up until their death, they want to really get close to it. But they never get the opportunity to walk. You see, there are some few examples of people who actually were Christians as far as the following Jesus Christ. They went to the cross just like Jesus Christ. People like Malcolm X, people like Dr. Martin Luther King, people like Gandhi, and so many others that have given their lives. But there have been those who would champion Jesus' life, champion the spiritual life, up to the point that there was nothing threatening to them, nothing at all. And that, in other words, they fit in. They were just as comfortable riding this fakedom of Christianity as the billionaires who got their money whatever way they got it. It's just all a game for everybody. And all of the billionaires are playing the same games. They're sucking the blood, they're sucking the lifeblood out of the other people. And you say, well, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, when you're saying that, you're saying that the system that designed it and allows you and permits you to do this says that there's nothing wrong with it. And this, my friends, is just an example of that side of the coin that does not recognize what's actually happening. And in reality, since it exists, it actually indicates that neither side know what's happening. The pain and suffering can be eliminated, but neither of you are willing to give to get. And so until neither of you, and who is that neither of you? It's everybody that hates. It's everybody that's a racist. It's everybody that's a bigot. It's everybody that's a liar. It's everybody that's a cheater. It's everyone that is willing to murder and kill. It's everyone who rejects the opposites. Does that include you? I want so bad for those people who have been convinced that getting into office and taking over, acting like savages, is the way to go. I want to convince you so much that whatever you get out of that is nothing compared to what you can actually get if you just face the truth. The truth is that you are somebody, and you should not be used to make somebody else feel as though they are somebody while you are nothing but a tool for them. No, my friends, you are somebody. Every last one of us are somebody. And yes, we are tools to one another, because all we got to give is love if we know what it is. Somebody needs to take a little bit of time. I know it's been hard. I know it's been rough. We've lived in a world that's been cold, 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 cold. And when we start talking about warmth, when we start talking about compassion, empathy, when we start talking about closeness, brotherhoods, family, that stuff seems like punkish. But the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, we got to love everybody. You know, one of the things that we talk about is LGBT, gay, faggots, whatever you want to call them. We have done that, as far as I can see, all my life. People have used those expressions. And I've known people who have been considered but didn't want to come out because of the treatment that they get from the general public. But the general public don't know any better. They're just as ignorant as they can be. They make jokes and they laugh about stuff like this because they don't know any better. And the reason that this stuff is so uh, monumental in trying to destroy it is because the truth of the matter is that we don't care about one another. What we've been talking about here, we don't respect one another. See, if we did, if we made sure that everybody was free in their own, in themselves, and the joy of being themselves, we wouldn't have time to judge. What man amongst us is able to criticize God for making a woman? What woman amongst us is able to criticize God for making a man? What human being amongst us can criticize God for making a different type of animal? A snake, a monkey. And if God can do all of that without asking our permission, if God happens to bring an individual on this earth whose sexual persuasion is different than ours, who the hell are we to judge God? I can say this. We, if we are of God, are to love. And we don't have any time to judge. We have to love. We have to love. And if there's anything that's out of order, that's in God's hand, not ours. All we can do is love. The moment we stop loving, it's the beginning of our cancer. And cancer usually is something that takes a lot of lives. Now, I want to stop here, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm talking kind of long and I'm repeating myself. But I'm just hoping that when I'm sitting like this, when I'm talking, I'm getting many of you to realize that I'm just one of you. And I'm talking to you just like we're sitting on the corner talking. If we're sitting in a coffee shop having coffee, we're just talking. The general public, I'm not one of those very people who got degrees, people who are held up as being very, very smart, articulate, and all that kind of stuff. No, there are other people who are like that. They have that responsibility. People like Dr. King and others, they have that responsibility, and they did it quite well. But he was speaking to all of us. They were speaking to all of us, but specifically to those people who were at that level of intelligentsia, if you want to say. But I'm speaking to the common people, common, who not crazy, got what you call sense, just sense, mother wit. And it's not complicated. And for the poor, you know exactly what I'm saying is absolutely true. But what is lacking is confidence. What is lacking is courage. What is lacking is God in our lives. I want to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Our problem, God, is lacking in our lives. Thank you.